think that the number one problem is that people don't give themselves permission to succeed. So they constantly have a limiting belief, and they
Yeah.
just constantly get in their own way. They're going to give themselves every excuse in the book. I don't have time. I don't have this. I don't know enough about this. I don't have suppliers for this product. I don't know how to build software, whatever the excuse is. And this is what all new entrepreneurs, all new business owners struggle with. And if you're struggling with that, don't worry. That's everybody goes through that phase, right? But you have to get over that. It is a limiting belief, and you have to give yourself permission to succeed, because if you don't, you will never succeed.
Hi everyone, today I'm interviewing Alan Dean. Now he's very known in the ClickFunnels community. He's one of the top affiliates of ClickFunnels, and he's been on this digital marketing journey since I think 2019 it was, Alan, if I'm correct. And he's an established author, he's a speaker, he's a trainer, he's a coach, and he has made more than 20 million in sales. How amazing is that? Hi Alan, thank you so much for being on my show today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Joy. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much for agreeing to come on. I just think the audience can have, they can learn so much from you. You just, you've got such a voice in the community. People know you, they adore you, they love you because you're just, all rounded, full of knowledge, and you always share your inspiration with people. Can you tell people a little bit about you and who is Alan and where did Alan come from?
Sure. So you want like kind of a little bit of my origin story getting into the space, or
yes, just a little bit about you. Who's Alan?
Who's Alan? Alan is entrepreneur. Alan is business owner. Alan is but most importantly, Alan is husband and father, right? So that's kind of number one in Alan's life, husband and father, and that's the main reason why I do what I do, as is probably most of the people that probably will watch this this video. Family tends to motivate most people, and that's what motivates me. And so, at my core, that's what drives me, and that's what I'm all about is family. And so everything I do is for my family, to support my family, to give my family the things that they want and need. And that's why I do what I do. So, other than that, I love to play golf. I have a race car. I love anything that goes fast, whether it's cars. I raced motorcycles my whole life when I was a kid. Traveled all over the country in the United States racing motorcycles. And so some of this might be stuff that actually people may not know about me. I fly planes as a pastime hobby. I haven't done it in a couple of years, but I used to fly planes a lot just for fun. Nice. So yeah, there's a little bit of kind of what drives me, and some of the things I like to do for fun as well.
Yeah, you've got some expensive hobbies, so you obviously need to make the money to support the hobbies, right? Boys and toys.
That's right. Got to make lots of offers to keep up with my hobbies.
Exactly. Okay, so you talked about marriage, and I know that I think anybody that knows Alan would know that he's very happily married. Now, this show is about going behind the scenes to see what makes people successful, right? And a lot of times, it's hard to be an entrepreneur and to be happily married sometimes, for most people. I mean, we've seen divorces, especially with COVID. So many people got divorced left, right, and center. I'm like you, very happily married, no problems in that department, but a lot of people struggle. So what advice would you have for people that is on this entrepreneurial journey, but they really struggle to balance happily marriage and, basically the family life with entrepreneurship, because it's not an easy journey? What advice would you give people?
I think that for me, and this is a tough question, right? Because
I know
everybody's dynamic is a little different. Everybody kind of relationships are a little different from people, and there's no golden rule that everybody does this one thing and all relationships will succeed, right? So everybody looks for that easy button, and it's just not there. Relationships are tough work, right? We all know that. Entrepreneurship is tough work. Relationships are tough work. Marriage is tough work. Being a parent is tough work. It's all tough work. And so it's just like anything else in the world. You're going to get out of it what you put into it, okay? And if you want to succeed in your relationships with your spouses and your kids and all that, you've got to put the work in, just like you're trying to do with your online business, your entrepreneur, journey, whatever it is. You got to put the work in if you want to succeed. And the same way it goes with relationships. And for me, I think that the first thing that comes to mind when you ask that question is you've got to make time to devote and spend with your family, right? Yes. And it's hard because, especially as a new entrepreneur, you're really hyped up, you're really excited, and you want to just put in the work, and you want to work, 23 hours of the day, and get your offers and get your funnels built and get all your stuff out, and you're just super excited about it. And you tend to just kind of forget about everything else, and in the back of your mind, maybe you're telling yourself, well, it's okay because I'm doing it for them, right? But that's a grand thing to do, but you've got to still spend time with them. And so, I know people like Spencer Meekum, for example. Know him pretty well, and I was talking to him, and he was telling me, he's like, look, my entrepreneur journey, my life as an entrepreneur is basically just like everybody else's 9 to 5. He's like I get up in the morning, I go to work at 8 o'clock, I get off at 5 o'clock, and that's it. He's like, and then I spend time with my family just like a normal person would in their 9 to 5. So even though I'm an entrepreneur, doesn't really change my lifestyle. I still just sort of work a normal 8 hours a day or whatever have you. And then I spend time with my family, and I put my phone down, I turn my phone off, I eat dinner with my family, spend time with my kids, or whatever. And so that's just what I would encourage people that are struggling, with relationships and mixing relationships with entrepreneurship and all that, is just to make sure that you don't forget to spend time with your loved ones. It's great to be on the journey because of them, but we also need to spend time with them and let them know and continue to curate those relationships. So
Yeah, I love that. That's really great advice. I had to pause about 2 years ago because I was doing exactly that. I pulled all the hours, and then I woke up one morning, I'm thinking, crikey, I'm miserable. My family's miserable. I'm a horrible wife. I'm a horrible parent. And I had to stop and think, I'm doing this for them. I'm not going to do this to them, not being there. And it's,
right.
yeah, and it's just, I think having that realization, it really helps a lot as well. Now, you're very good with software creation. Can we talk a little bit about how you got onto that journey? I mean, friend of foe, and happy birthday is the ones that I know very well because I'm part of them. I've got them in my my Google Chrome extension. How did those come about, and how did you get into the whole software Chrome extension journey?
Yeah, when I got started, if you would have asked me if you thought a year from, in 2019, kind of when I started in the digital world, so to speak, if you'd asked me if I thought I was going to be building software, I'd have been like, no, this just wasn't my thing. But just one more reason to kind of always be open, and you never know what's going to come your way, right? And so this is just the journey that ended up working out for me, and I'm so happy with it. But I used to interview a lot of people, kind of like you're doing, right now, Joy, and I enjoy doing it. We were talking a little bit about this before, we came on, and I love to do it, and I love to not only learn from people myself, but also be able to provide value to my audience, because they're seeking to learn as well. And so one time, I was interviewing a guy named Myron Golden, very, very, very successful.
He's awesome.
Businessman,
I love
entrepreneur. Him. I love Myron Golden. One of my favorite guys.
Awesome.
And
yes.
Just love Myron. And so I was talking to him, and he was talking with me about, there was two things really that really kind of struck home with me. And one was kind of what you guys probably already know is where he was just reiterating our jobs as entrepreneurs, which is find a problem, provide a solution, right? Simple as that. Nothing, don't overthink it. It's just, that's our job, is find a problem, provide a solution, find a pain, provide a solution. And then he started talking about finding the fastest path to cash. And he said, this is what you need to do. You need to find the fastest path to cash. You can have dreams, you can have goals. It's great to say, I want a 10X award, and I want $10 million, and I want a Lamborghini and a 50,000 square foot house, or whatever. But you need to find the fastest path to cash to start making money, so that you can start building confidence, so that you can start your journey and then scale and continue to go on down the road, right? But we got to find the fastest path to cash and just get something going. And so I was thinking about those things one day, and literally I was just on Facebook, and these things are in the back of my mind, and I had like 700-800 friend requests, because I'm on Facebook a lot. As you know, I'm very active. And the more active you are on Facebook, the more friend requests you're going to get. It's just nature of the beast, how it goes. And so I'm looking, I'm like, look, there's nobody on earth that will ever convince me that it is worth my time, that I can justify my time to sit there and go through 700 or 800 friend requests and just look at them all. And, okay, do I know this person? Do we have mutual friends? Do they have a real picture? Is their account more than 1 month old? Whatever, like all this stuff, right? Like there's no way. Your time is entirely too valuable. And I preach
Yeah,
this, so much about time. It doesn't matter how much money you have or how much money you make or whatever. Time is something that you will never get back. You cannot get
exactly.
time back. You cannot buy more time. It does not exist. When
Yeah.
time is gone, it's gone. What I just said is gone. I can never take it back. Right. And so we have to be so conscious and so um, just purposeful with everything that we do with our time, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so this is just something that I think about a lot, and we can talk
Mm-hmm.
about something else about that here in a minute. But so keeping that in mind, I'm like, I can't justify my time.
No.
My time is too valuable to sit here and go through 700 friend requests. But then I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, well, here's the problem with that. Yes, there's probably a bunch of junk friend requests. There's probably a bunch of fakes in there. There's probably a bunch of mail order brides and pastors from Bolivia that want my money and all this stuff, right? But there's probably hundreds of people in there that truly are real people and that really did want to send me a friend request. These are people that saw something I wrote, they saw an interview, they read something or whatever, and they wanted to stick their hand out and shake their hand with me and say, hey, hey, nice to meet you. I saw something, I read something, whatever, right? And so to me, I consider that a warm lead. This is not a cold lead. This is a warm lead. This is someone that's already put their foot in the door to me. Now I have the opportunity to reach out, shake their hand, and potentially at some point make a sale from them, right?
Exactly.
And so this is a lead I don't have to pay for. This is free leads sitting right in my Facebook friend request box. And I think that most people just don't consider that or didn't consider that or didn't think of it that way. And so now I'm like, okay, well, now I need to rethink this time thing, like how valuable my time is, because now I have hundreds of people that could translate to thousands or tens of thousands of dollars sitting right here in my friend request box. And so long story short, I looked and looked and there was no solution for it. There was no way to automate or no way to shorten the time it took to go through all these friend requests. And so thinking of Myron Golden, thinking of fastest path to cash, thinking of provide solutions to problems, that is ultimately how Friend-or-Foe was born. And as you know, Joy, what Friend-or-Foe does is it basically just sends automated responses to every person that sends you a friend request. And that way you only have to engage with people that actually respond to you. And so you're just weeding out everybody, right? And so, what people need to remember with Facebook is we all get 5,000 friends on Facebook. That's it. That's our max. And the metric on Facebook, the thing that you need to care about more than anything else on Facebook is likes, comments, and shares. That's it, right? That's what gets our message out there. That's what gets, people to buy from us. That's what, people to know about us or whatever, right? And so if you have 5,000 people that don't like, comment, and share your stuff, nobody's ever going to see your stuff. And so it's incredibly important that the people that are on your friends list are people that are going to engage with your content, okay? Everybody else can follow you. They can still see your stuff. But on your friends list, you got 5,000 spots. Those are very coveted spots. You need to treasure those spots and think of those as award. Like I need to award those spots to people that are going to be valuable to me. And so for me, if I send you one message that says, hey, thanks for sending me a friend request, like how did you know about me or what made you send me a friend request? And you don't even respond to that, you're definitely not going to like, comment, and share my stuff. Correct. And so this is the basic ultimate concept. And as you know, Friend-or-Foe does a lot of other things, a lot of other features and stuff with it. But what I'm trying to do is weed out all the junk, take, the friend requests that are valuable to me and pay attention to those and not have to waste my time on the rest of them. And so kind of a long story there, but it's important on a lot of levels, not just because of software, but it's important for people to understand Facebook and the power of your friend request and the power of your time. And so that's kind of why I took a minute to explain all that. But
yeah, that's
yes,
good.
That's how it was born.
It's a good explanation. And I strongly recommend you guys get onto it. When I joined the Friend-or-Foe, which is probably a year and a half ago now, I don't even know. I was sitting with 900 friend requests. So it's like the same, and I just ignored them because I couldn't deal. I literally couldn't deal with marriage proposals and things anymore. So I literally just ignored it, and it saved me a lot of time. So
yeah, females have it even worse than males most of the time. Especially if you're an attractive female, like you get it even worse than we do because y'all just got all kinds of crazy stuff, and like you said, marriage proposals and who knows what else. So
it's quite fun in Alan's Facebook group because there's forever we're ripping each other off, or the posts that we have to, because it's just hilarious some of the things that you get and people asking for things. It's just so funny. Okay, so this show is also about finding, like I said before, finding out what makes people successful. With the research I've done in the last probably year and a half, I've interviewed over 70 people now on my show. So, it's been a journey. And one of the common things that always comes up is productivity. If you're productive, that's one of the things that makes you successful, because you actually, like you say, time, right? You use your time very carefully. How do you spend your day being productive, Alan? Because obviously you're very cautious on your time. So you must have a structure, right?
So when I told you a minute ago that we'd kind of circle back to this is probably a good opportunity to talk about this. So as far
Yeah.
as, like I do structure out most of the time my day as far as, hours of the day and what I want to get accomplished and all that. But
Mhm.
I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to generalize this just a little bit more because I
Mhm.
think this will help the audience even more and
Mhm.
understand the value of time and understand uh, the importance of what we do all day, right? And so for me, being productive, so I have whiteboards kind of, I have a big one over on this wall and I have a small one on this wall. And on this wall, my whiteboard is my goals. Okay, so I have all of my goals, and some of them are 6-month goals, some are 1-year goals, some are 5-year goals, 10-year goals, all goals. Okay,
Nice.
and on this whiteboard, I list out the goals,
Mhm.
and then what I'm trying to do, basically, I'm giving you a Cliff Notes version, but at any point during the day,
Mhm.
whatever it is that I'm doing, regardless if I said I'm going to work on this from 8 to 9, even if I'm not doing that, at any point during the day, what I need to be able to do is attribute whatever it is that I'm doing towards one
Mhm.
of those goals. I've got to be able to say, this is contributing to that goal. This is moving me towards achieving or completing that goal. If whatever I'm doing cannot be, tied to something
Yeah,
on that board, I'm wasting my time. My time
exactly.
is not being used wisely, and
Mhm.
I'm not being productive. So in other words,
Mhm.
if I'm sitting on the couch binge watching Netflix, I can't put that to anything on that board. There's nothing on that board where binge watching Netflix accomplishes something of a goal of mine, right? And so then I know, okay, I'm wasting my time right now. Unless it's some sort of family movie, and whatever. And for that, on that note, there's not just, business goals. Like, these are all goals, right? So this is business goals, monetary goals, this is family goals, this is health goals, this is all goals, not just your business. Okay, so we all need to set goals for all aspects and areas of our life, right?
Mhm.
and so and so everything in the day is not just, is what I'm doing going to make more money for me? Some of it is this going to improve relationship with my wife? Is this going to improve relationship with my kids? Is this going to,
Yeah.
make me have a healthier body, or whatever, right? And so anyway, that's sort of a hack that I use personally, and I
Mhm.
think it's worked out very, very well. I think
Mhm.
anybody can do that,
Mhm.
and I would strongly encourage people to at least give it a shot.
Mhm.
Just write out your goals, and then
Mhm.
during the day, just think about, like, is
Mhm.
what I'm doing helping me move towards one of these goals? Is it helping me accomplish one of these goals? If it's not, you're not being productive and you're wasting
Yeah.
your time, and it's time that you can't get back. And so you need to change whatever it is you're doing and
Mhm.
move on to something else that will help you, reach your goals.
Yeah. And I completely agree. I'm doing exactly what you do. And I've got a whiteboard right here as well, which is exactly, you can actually see the bottom piece sticker sticking out a little bit on my, I've got two actually. I completely agree with you. Morning routines. Do you have one, Alan?
I do, because I have kids, so
Yeah.
I have 9-year-old twin daughters and I have a 12-year-old son. And so, very, very morning routine for me, which is basically all revolves around school. So, we get up at between 5:30 and 6
Mhm.
and wake the kids up, and the kids get up, and we do breakfast, we get backpacks ready, we get, dressed, clothes, whatever, all the normal kind of stuff. And so morning is pretty much all kids. And then once the kids are off to school, they go to school, about 7:30. And then
Yeah.
after that, it varies day to day. So it kind of depends on my wife somewhat. She goes to the gym pretty much every day, and usually in the mornings, but she goes at different times. So depending on if she leaves right when the kids go to school, then I come straight to my office and I do work. If she doesn't leave right away, usually I'll spend some time with her in the morning, and then I kind of start working when she leaves and goes to the gym. So I try to spend some time with her when she's here, right? And then but then when she's gone, it's just all work, all business for me most of the time, unless I have honey to-do lists, or something I got to run around and do something for her. But other than that, pretty much once she is gone and she leaves and she goes to the gym, she's gone for, like, I don't know, half a day, whatever, doing her stuff. um, then that's pretty much work time for me. And I work basically until the kids get out of school. And when the kids get out of school, then I usually don't work anymore after that,
Mm,
because then it's time to spend time with the kids. It's time to do homework. It's time
mm.
to, do stuff in the afternoon, go outside, play basketball with my son, whatever. Then it's dinner time, then it's getting ready for bed. And so the rest of the day tends to get, really busy. And so for me,
Yeah,
my typical work day to get stuff done is
yeah,
7:30 in the morning to about 3:30 in the afternoon. And that's kind of my time to work, is
yeah.
when the house is empty for the most part and the kids are at school. And that changes a little bit in about 2 weeks when they get out of school for the summer. It's going to be a little harder. But as a general rule, that's kind of
Yeah.
my routine.
So, because in the States it works, what you guys have like 2 holidays a year, the winter and the summer holidays. How does it work? And it's like what, 6, 7 weeks at a time, or
It's just the summer holiday. Just
oh
the
yeah,
summer one is the big one, where they're
yeah,
out. I mean, there's some of the holidays like Christmas, they're out for like 2 weeks, or something.
yeah.
But the summer, they're out for several months, and so it's a pretty big span between the summer
Yeah.
and when they start school again. Yeah, so they're out for a while.
It's crazy because here in New Zealand, how it works is if there's like they work in terms, there's 4 terms a year, and each term is about 2 weeks, except for December, that's about 7 to 8 weeks off. But each term is 2 weeks off, so it's like they just
Oh
spread it
wow.
out. But it's crazy. It's like it was just school holidays. Really? Do we have another one? But yeah, I completely get
No, they
that.
don't do that. We get a little bit here and there, and then they just give us the kids for like 3 months. Like, here you go, they're all yours for 3 months. Like, so
Good
everybody
luck
takes
figure it
their
out.
vacations in the summer here. Everybody goes on
Yeah.
vacation, whatever, because we all got kids all summer long. So,
Well, that's good
but it's
though.
Texas. It's really hot here in the summer. We get up 100 plus degrees in the summer here, and
Mm.
so a lot of water parks and water
Nice.
slides in the front yards and stuff like that. A lot of that in the summer here.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Okay, so your 20 million, how did you achieve that? Just a basic blueprint on how did you, how do you actually source your leads and your sales to get to make your sales?
So the $20 million in sales was from my professional career before I
Hmm.
completely went to the
Hmm.
digital space, right? And
Yeah.
so as a little bit of a back history, because we didn't really touch on this, and I think this is important for
Hmm.
anybody to learn about me, because I think this will resonate with most people.
Hmm.
Is me and my wife both worked full-time jobs, professional careers, the whole time I known her. She worked the same job for over 20 years.
Wow.
And so we were both making, good money. And this is where the $20 million in sales came from me, was in my professional career, which is in the heating and air conditioning industry. And I built a multi-million-dollar company of my own. I sold it when we had our first kid, and then went and managed another big multi-million-dollar corporation for many, 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 many years. And so this is where all my sales came in. And the problem was, lots of sales, money, whatever. And me and my wife both had good incomes. But my wife came to me about in 2019, about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And she says, look, she says, I'm not getting to spend time with the kids. Because even then, even though I wasn't doing the digital space, my schedule was still roughly the same. I would take the kids to school, I would go to work, and I would leave work early, and I would go pick them up from school at 3:30. And she didn't get home from her job until about 7:30 at night.
Oh,
And the
wow.
kids are in bed, by
Long
8:30,
day.
the latest. And
Mm.
so her problem was, she came to me, she says, look, um, I'm not getting to spend any time with the kids. I'm not getting to be a mom. I'm not getting to be a wife. Like I come home from work and I'm hungry, whatever. And by the time I scarf something down, like the kids are going to bed. I'm just not getting to spend any time with them. And so, she basically just came to me. She said, I want to quit working. I want to be a full-time stay-at-home mom, and I don't want to work anymore. I want to enjoy this time that I'm missing. And so remember, we're talking about the value and importance of time. And, if you're a
Hmm.
parent, how quick your kids grow up, man. And it's just gone
Exactly.
like that, before
Yeah.
you know it. It's
Yeah.
happening to me in real life right now. And so, mind you, she's six-figure salary, right? And so this is not McDonald's income that we're giving up, right? This is
Mm.
life-changing money for a lot of people. And she says, I don't care. I don't want it. And so in order to not change our lifestyle, that became my goal. My goal was, now, in addition to sales and the income that I already have, I want to create another stream of income that will supplement hers. I need to create a six-figure income to replace hers
Mm.
while I was still working a 9 to 5 job myself. so that I could give her, what she wanted and be a full-time stay-at-home mom. And so that's what I did. That's why I started out in 2019. And then right at almost exactly a year in, so last year, right about the time the whole COVID thing hit, we had surpassed that mark for her. And so she quit her job and she's been a full-time mom,
Nice.
stay-at-home mom ever since. And so the reason that I think that's important, the reason that I love to share that story is so many people are in the same boat. I'm nothing special, guys. I mean, I had a career sales, whatever, but I'm nobody special. When I came into this digital space in 2019, nobody brought me here. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have a list, an email list. I had nothing. Okay. And I was working a 9-to-5 job. I was picking my kids up from school at 3:30. I was taking them home, doing homework. I was cooking the dinner. I was doing the homework. I was doing everything. And I still managed to make the time. My time was late at night, but I still managed to make the time to commit to earn another 6-figure income on top of all of that, just so I could support my wife and enable her to quit her job and be a full-time stay-at-home mom. And so I just think that's important because I want people to know that if I can do it, you can do it. Like I didn't do anything special. I just put the work in. I had a strong why that was motivating me, right? It's my wife and my family. And so I had goals and I just set out on a mission and I took action every single day to make sure that I hit my marks. And then once I did, she was able to quit her job. And then eventually I ended up quitting myself because I got tired of it. And so I'm like, screw this. And so now she doesn't work at all. And so I just work from home, doing my stuff here. And it's been great. It's been absolutely life-changing. I wish everybody could enjoy, the kind of freedom that I get to experience right now because me and her go on lunch dates like all the time. It's just stuff we never got to do, that when you're strapped down and you're really handcuffed to the 9-to-5 job, you just don't get that kind of freedom.
Exactly.
And so we're both just enjoying life so much more now. And I'm so grateful and so thankful for getting to be on this journey. And but I can't let my foot off the accelerator pedal, right? Like I got to keep it down, because I don't want to go back to the way before. And I know she never wants to go back to work, and so that's kind of what motivates me and keeps me going.
Now, here's the thing, and when I speak to people, that often someone's like, I don't, because a lot of the people that I help, they still have a full-time job, right? It's not uncommon. It's very known, people, that's how we all start out. But then they reach a point where they're like, well, I don't actually know how to juggle everything plus start this part-time thing. How many hours did it take you realistically a week to just sit down and just, get into it and start making money on the side?
So when I started, the first thing that I started with was the One Funnel Away challenge, right? So this is ClickFunnels. And so I had watched the ad or something of Russell's and, they started retargeting me and they start popping up in my Facebook feed, like everywhere I went, and I think initially I signed up for the 30-day summit, which is a free summit where you can go and they have like 30 authors, 30 people. And they ask them, if you lost everything, and you had 30 days, what would you do to, get it back or whatever, basically. And so it was free, and so I signed up for that. And then there was an upsell for the One Funnel Away challenge, which is basically just a 30-day challenge for anybody that doesn't know. It's just kind of a 30-day marketing challenge, kind of teach you the ins and outs of digital marketing and getting your mindset right and, kind of giving you the path to be able to create an online business of some sort, right? And so that's kind of how I got started, was One Funnel Away journey. And on like day 1 or day 2 of the One Funnel Away, OFA, that's what we call it. One of the very first thing they did was they said, listen, here's what you have to do. You write out your schedule. So this is my normal schedule. It's what time I wake up. It's what I do, whatever, kind of like we were talking about earlier. It's what I do all day long from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep. Write it all down. Then now you need to add 1 to 2 hours a day to commit just to the One Funnel Away challenge, because that's how much work is involved in the challenge. As you know, a lot of training, a lot of homework, a lot of stuff we got to do, hour videos to watch sometimes, whatever, right? And so they said, now you need to take your schedule or readjust it and add in 1 to 2 hours a day to complete the challenge. And so that's what I did. And so for me, because, my wife was working at the time, I was still working with the kids and all that stuff. Like I said, I didn't have any free time during the day, as do most people. So my free time was at night. And so after the kids went to bed, after I spent a little bit of time with my wife, I would come into my office and I would sit down and I would do my work. And so on average, 1 to 2 hours, a night. So that would be 9, 10 o'clock at night, most nights. And so there's a lot of nights I'm up till midnight and back up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you know, and that's what I did it. So I would say about 2 hours a night. And, you know, when I got started, I would say about 2 hours a night. I committed to doing that one funnel away challenge. And that was a 30-day challenge. And so, you know, for the first month, that's about it. They give you the weekends off, even though I didn't really take them off. I would still kind of do some work, you know, on the weekends and kind of recap a little bit. And at the time I was also building a Facebook group and, you know, continuing to kind of grow as I went through the challenge. But yeah, that's kind of the short answer would be about 2 hours a day is kind of what I put into it when I first got started.
Now, you were talking about audience earlier a little bit, and like you're very known in the ClickFunnels community, obviously, because you're also a top affiliate and you're always sharing value. Like you're just an all-rounder nice person, Alan. People love you. So how did you start building your audience? Because people find this quite hard. Like I don't know, personally, I just network them in jingles and, you know, just talk to people and have fun. But how do you do it? How do you network? Because you built yourself up quite a very, I mean, if you post something on Facebook, there's a lot of people that comment and like your post, right? So how did you get to that point, considering you had nothing when you started in 2019?
Yeah, so, you know, I think the key to being successful is creating and producing more value, right? And so everything kind of revolves around value. And it's a little cliche sometimes if people say that, but it's the absolute truth. It's absolute truth. And so when I got started, I started a Facebook group. And so initially, so I'll give you exactly what I did. From day one, when I started the One Funnel Away Challenge is my first day one in my online journey was One Funnel Away Challenge. And immediately I started a Facebook group and I called it the ClickFunnels Accountability Partners Group, I think. Eventually ClickFunnels actually ended up emailing me and saying, you can't call your Facebook group that because it has the name ClickFunnels in it. And, you know, you can't do that. So I had to change the group name. But when I first started it, that's what it was called. And so basically what I started doing was I was going through the journey, the challenge. And in the challenge, we have a private Facebook group for just the people that are going through the challenge, right? So there was, I don't know, 5,000 people in the challenge or whatever it was at the time. And so I would go and I would kind of see who was being active in the challenge, who was talking a lot, you know, whatever, who I could tell were like kind of the sharks that were just, you know, trying to prey on people and who weren't. And so what I started doing was just messaging people that I felt like were first timers like myself. And I would invite them to my Facebook group and I would say, hey, look, I just have this accountability group. I'm not here to sell anything. I just want some people, you know, a safe place for some people to kind of come together and hold each other accountable so we can go through this challenge because it looks like it's really intense. Looks like it takes a lot of time. And hopefully we can all kind of, you know, be successful and go through it together. And so that's what I did. And so that's how my Facebook group started. And then it has evolved over time. And then eventually what I did was, like you and I were talking about earlier and kind of like you're doing right now, I started interviewing just tons of people. And so here again, what I'm trying to do is provide value. And so what I did was I went to my Facebook group, and by this time, you know, there's probably 1,000, 1,500 people in my group. And I say, look, give me your top 10 of your Dream 100. So let's say the top 10 people that you want to follow, the people that have achieved the things that you want to achieve, the people that you really want to learn from, the people that, you know, you want to emulate, right? Like the people that, you know, number one people in your life that you want to follow. And so I said, give me those people. I said, and I'm going to go and I'm going to track down those people and I'm going to convince them to do an interview with me in this Facebook group. And we'll do it live. And so you'll get the opportunity to come and ask these people questions live, you know, via the chat, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's basically what I did. I spent the better part of, you know, a year interviewing all of these A-list people, you know, like tons of multimillionaires like Myron Golden we talked about earlier, and just tons and tons and tons and tons of great and very, very successful people. But it was all people that my audience wanted to hear from. It wasn't people that I wanted to. Not that I didn't want to hear from these people, because they're all great people, but I let them choose. I say, you tell me who you want to learn from, like who would be the most valuable to you, and I will track those people down and I will do an interview with them. And that's what I did. And so not only did I get to learn from these people, but my audience felt like I was providing immense value to them because I wasn't selling them anything. We never sold anything at the end of the interviews. There was no pitches. There was no ulterior motive behind all this. It was purely to provide value. And so that's what I did. I just continued to provide value. And so I built up, you know, a lot of people that were Very thankful for that. A lot of loyal followers. And then eventually, when it came time to make offers, they had no problem supporting me because they knew all of the work that I had done for them and all the value that I'd given them, and I always gave it without expecting anything in return. And so, like I said, when came time to make offers, if it was something that they needed, then there was, they didn't even question it to
Yeah.
purchase, from me. And so it's just kind of a, you know, what comes around goes around, right? Like if you treat
Yeah.
your people right, if you're honest, if you're ethical, and you continue to provide value, money will come. Money will come as a
Mm.
byproduct, right? Like your customer service and giving value should always be number one in everything that you do. And as
Exactly.
long as you do that right, as long as you do that right,
Mm.
then the rest of the stuff will follow. So.
Yes, I completely agree with you. What is the okay, we talked about family, and obviously your family is your bigger why, and that is what drives you, to your success and all of those things. Do you have a bigger picture in the next 5 years, a bigger goal to what you want to achieve? Do you plan that far ahead?
Oh yeah, I have. So I kind of might make some people mad here, but I tend to troll Dave Ramsey a lot, right? He's kind of a big financial guru,
Yeah.
here. Maybe I don't know if you know him, but here in the States, he's whatever. But I troll him a lot because to your point,
Yes.
what I want to do is I want to create generational wealth. So I
Hmm.
want to create wealth that gives my kids and my grandkids and my great grandkids a head start in life.
Yep. That's
You
me
know,
too. I get it
And
completely.
so
Hmm.
I'm looking way further down the road
Yeah.
than just having a good retirement, which is kind of like a Dave Ramsey follower. Like it's he's teaching get out of debt and save up some money so that when you retire you can have a couple $1 million and live a great retirement. Well, that's great. I mean,
But then
and
what?
I'm not knocking, like I want everybody to enjoy that.
Yeah.
But my point and the reason I troll him and I do it for fun, but in all seriousness, is because I believe that people truly have the ability to do so much more than
Yes.
what he teaches, right? I
Hmm.
believe that you can achieve so much more in life. You can achieve so much more, wealth and generational wealth if you can apply a lot better principles than pay cash for everything and don't ever have debt and whatever, right? So different financial literacy class interview, different time. But but the main answer to your question is I'm looking at doing so. Like right now, I bought land, 3 different lots up in a different state than where we live, and we're
Hmm.
fixing to build 3 rental cabins. Fixing to spend over $1 million building rental cabins, and these are going to be long-term
Wow.
investments that are going to be asset and revenue producing assets for me for a long time to come. And so these are the things that I'm looking to do, and I'm looking further down the road is increasing my assets, increasing revenue, increasing anything that can produce cash flow. And I'm not just settling on what I'm doing with Facebook Chrome extensions. Like
Mm.
I'm into real estate. I have 2 other businesses and service-based businesses, and so I'm continually looking to grow, continually looking to expand, continually looking to invest in any way I can to create as much generational wealth as I can.
I love that. That's really awesome. So this show is also diving in to help and motivate people, potentially motivate people. That's the goal, to start a business. Because, and I think this drive for me really started COVID, when there was just so many people that lost their jobs and they struggle, right? But yet there's quite a lot of people that sit on the fence, or they're stuck in their business and they just don't know how to take that next step. What advice would you have for somebody that is sitting on that fence, and they either don't want to start a business yet because something is holding them back, or they have and they're stuck? What advice would you have for somebody?
Oh man, I think that people, the number one problem is that people don't give themselves permission to succeed. So they
Mm.
constantly have a limiting belief and they
Yeah.
just constantly get in their own way.
Mm.
They're going to give themselves every excuse in the book. I don't have time. I don't have this. I don't know enough about this. I don't have suppliers for this product. I don't know how to build software, whatever the excuse is. And this is what all new entrepreneurs, all new business owners struggle with. And if you're
Mhm.
struggling with that, don't worry. That's everybody goes through that phase, right? But you have to get over that. It is a limiting belief, and you have to give yourself permission to succeed, because if you don't, you will never succeed. You will
Mm.
never get over that hump. You will constantly just be sitting there and just never able to move forward. And so I think that is the number one thing, is that you just have to give yourself permission to succeed. I can do this. I will do this. I am capable of doing this. You have to believe in yourself. Because remember, guys, if I don't believe in myself, and if I don't believe in what it is that I'm doing or the product that I'm selling, my customers sure aren't going to believe in it, right? If I don't even believe in it. So you just have to have faith in yourself. And sometimes that's hard. It's hard to step out on faith. It's hard to do stuff like that. But, if we go back to basics about entrepreneurship, I was talking to Steve Larson recently, and he said something that was great. He said people they're worried about step 79, right? Like they're just worried about what's going to happen down the road when I do this and this, and the customer does this, and why are you worried about step? You need to worry about step 2. You're on step 1. You worry about step 2. You don't worry about step 79. And this is what our brains do. We just tend to overthink, and we get in our own way, and we say, well, what happens here? And what happens when this happens, and this happens, and this happens? You don't worry about that. Worry about baby steps. Where I'm on step 1, I worry about step 1 and how I'm going to get from step 1 to step 2. That's all I need to worry about, right? And so we just need to identify our why. Why am I on this journey? Who is it that I'm called to serve, and what problem can I solve for them? It's the only thing we need to figure out when you're just getting started. That's what we need to figure out, why I'm on this journey. And by the way, don't let that be money, right? Like money will come as a byproduct, like I said, when we serve our customers well, but don't just be on the journey for money. Money, root of all evil. We all heard all that. And it's very true. You're on a reason. You're on the journey for another reason. And like I said, money will come. But why am I on this journey? Who am I called to serve? And how can I serve that person? What problem can I provide for them? We need to identify those 3 things, and then just get out of your own way and give yourself permission to succeed. So that would be my advice for people that are just stepping in.
Love it. That's really great advice. I would follow that advice, guys. Alan, where can people reach you? What do you have to offer for people, and where can they reach you?
I offer ways to save time. We just talked about how important time was. And so I create softwares. A lot of what I'm doing right now, at least in the digital space, in the Facebook world, is I create softwares that save time. And so, Friend or Foe, we talked about that. Happy birthday, another great one. And then I have 2 other softwares. I have an Emoji Me, and then I have a brand new one that we just launched called Influencer Insider. And it's a way to stalk your Dream 100 people, so you can kind of see what they're up to and learn from them and all that kind of stuff, right? And so basically I create things that will help advance you in the world of entrepreneurship and all that, but also save you lots of time. So I'm trying to automate things that can save you a lot of time. And so that's what I spend a lot of time doing, is creating tools that can help you do that. And at the same time, I have my Facebook group and also my personal profile, where I love to just share, I love to just give back. I love to share value. I love to help anyone I can with anything. And, I'm not the guy that's always trying to lure you in with something and then want $1 from you, right? Like that's just not my personality. Like I truly want to give back. I want people to experience freedom. I want people to get past those limiting beliefs. And I love to see people succeed. I love it when people succeed. And I really believe that everyone has the ability to do that. And so if I can help people do that in any way, then, that's what I'm all about. And so the easiest place to find me is just real simply my personal Facebook profile. That's where I spend the majority of my time, is that or my Facebook group, which my Facebook group you can find on my personal profile anyway. So, if you send me a friend request, Friend or Foe is going to hit you with a message. So just be warned, you're going to get a message from Friend or Foe. But by all means, feel free to send me a friend request or just follow me or whatever. And, tag me anywhere, guys. You can tag me wherever you see this interview, tag me in this interview, tag me on my personal profile, send me a message, any point, anywhere. If there's a question or something I can help you with, then please, by all means, ask it, and I would love to help you.
Thank you, Alan. This was amazing. I really appreciate your time. You are just such a source of information, and it's great to finally do this. I think I've actually been wanting to interview for like a year now. So it's it's another goal ticked. I finally interviewed Alan. So thank you so very much. I really appreciate your time. And we will be in touch, I'm sure.
Sounds good. Thanks again, Joy. Appreciate it.